Hello YouTube viewers and welcome to my channel. What Shame Gang? Hello guys, how are you guys doing today? I pray that you guys are doing well. So this is part 4 of how God confirmed that he wanted me to move to Georgia. Okay, so first and foremost, it's dark. Y'all gotta excuse me. I am in the car doing this video because my baby is still woke. He is not in bed yet. And yeah, I like to do my videos in private because my baby tends to ask questions, and I just like to, make my videos in private. It's nothing personal. But okay, so let's get right into it because I'm trying to find ways to shorten the videos so that I'm not making them like over an hour, trying to at least be under an hour if possible. So and somebody might come around on the outside of my car being nosy, so hopefully not. But yeah, so anyways, so I left off in the third video, excuse me, pretty much talking about how towards the end of the video I spoke about how I pretty much asked God once I got to my family member house if he didn't want me to get comfortable there, because it's very easy to get comfortable when you're around the familiarity, right? When you're around family and people that you know. And so I just really didn't feel comfortable there, just like any other place really. The only place I really felt some type of peace at, and it was because I had my own space, was when I was at the extended stay. But as far as the friend/associate's house and the family member's house, it was never really no comfort there. Like, I mean, it was, it really wasn't like a comfortable situation, like all the way, right? So I pretty much became like a little frustrated around this particular time. I'm so sorry, y'all. And I prayed and I asked God. I said, Lord, if you don't want me to get comfortable here, like, send me a clear sign. You know what I'm saying? And so hours later, after I prayed that prayer, because I woke up in the middle of the night praying this, hours later when I woke up in the morning and started pretty much folding up the air mattress that I was sleeping on, it was wet. And then that's when I discovered that it was water gushing up from the floorboard. So initially, it was brought to my attention that would happen sometimes, like closer to the window area, but it had came out to like the middle of the floor at this point. And this is obviously something that this particular person was not aware of, and this was not of the ordinary. So like I said, I know there was nothing but God being real clear by sending me that sign, because like I stated, I was sleeping on the floor on an air mattress that wasn't really it wasn't really trying to keep the light on, y'all. It is what it is. The mattress wasn't really high off the ground at all, so it was just clear signs that, like I stated, I needed not to get comfortable. So I don't know why I keep yawning. Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. So, that situation transpired, and, so the lady that I met at the hotel, the manager, the task force manager that I met at the hotel, Nicole. So I pretty much ended up, because at the end of the day, when I was at the hotel and I met her, I pretty much was downloaded to her how I know that God was making it clear to me that he wanted me to relocate, and how he even used her in a sense to confirm it. So I had left or whatever, and I believe I was doing Instacart or something like that, but I called her and I pretty much told her, like, look, I prayed and asked God to send the sign if he didn't want me to get comfortable, and then I woke up pretty much in a puddle, right? You know what I'm saying? I woke up and underneath the air mattress was water. So at that point, I was really uncomfortable and I had to sleep on the couch. And as I stated in the previous video, it wasn't like a huge couch, so I let my son sleep on the couch so that he could be comfortable, and then I slept on the airbed so that I can be comfortable, because we both couldn't fit on the couch. But at this particular moment, I wasn't comfortable to sleep on the floor no more, so I had to sleep on the couch, which I became even more uncomfortable, but I had to make it work. And so I called her and I pretty much was just like, girl, I prayed a prayer, walked the bam, and then boom, I woke up and this happened. So she instantly was like, you know what, girl, just come to Georgia. And I was like, nah. She was like, you could just so she was staying in a certain part of Georgia at the time. Now mind you, I left this part out, but when I had met her or whatever, she had her own little situation going on with her relationship and with her marriage, and she was pretty much ready to get out of her marriage with her particular husband or whatever at the time. And so, as I stated previously, I was encouragement to her at this particular time, trying to give her the best advice I knew how or whatever, and just uplifting her and stuff when we was back at the hotel. So now we're gone. She's back home, and like I stated, I left the hotel and went with my family member. So she had already made it clear that she was ready to leave Georgia and go back to her hometown because she felt like she did everything she needed to do in Georgia. But then when I called her with that situation, as far as waking up and the floor was like flooding or whatever, after I pretty much asked God to send that sign, she was just like, you know what, you just come to Georgia now. She was like, I'm about to move back home. I found the house. Just come to Georgia. She was like, and you can move in my house. So I'm like, for real? So I'm like, are you sure about that? Because, like, again, I didn't know her from a can of paint. I had really known her for like a month, if that. You know what I'm saying? So she just like, you know what, you could just come move in my house. She was like, when I move out and I go back to my hometown, I'm not going to tell y'all her hometown. I don't think I said it in the previous video, but she was like, when I go back to my hometown, she was like, I just renewed the lease for you or whatever. I'll do you like a year lease, 6 months to a year lease. You just, come move in the house that I'm renting or whatever. And she pretty much told me like the rent was like $16, no more than $1,700. And she was just like, if you feel like you can afford it, you know what I'm saying, like you could just move into the house. So I was just like, wow. Like I said, that's crazy that you were even willing to do that for me. Like, you don't even really know me for real. You already know what type of town I'm on. You already know I'm on the faith move. You know what I'm saying? And you already know once I go to Georgia, it ain't like, and again, so this is before I really came into agreement with Georgia. Like, I still was thinking it was the other place. You know what I'm saying? But she like, you know what, ain't too far from there, so just come to Georgia for now, and then if that's what God's sending you, then you could go there eventually. But if you just trying to get out of your current situation, you could just come move into my house. And she was just like, just, move all your stuff down here. You could put it in the garage for the time being, but like, just come on, man, just come down here and just do it or whatever. So I'm like, oh no. So I tell her straight up, like, I'm gonna take it to God. You know what I'm saying? Let me take it to God, and let me pretty much ask him. So that was that. So I kind of left that where it was. Like, I didn't really take her up on the offer like right away, because I'm like, I don't know about that. So some time goes by. Then that's when I pretty much asked God to send me, when I asked him how long he wanted me to stay at my family member's house. I get off the phone with her, whatever. I pretty much was like, Lord, send me a confirmation as to how long you want me to stay. And so I threw like a certain time frame out there, and I pretty much was just like, if this is what you want, Lord, like, send a confirmation or whatever. And so he did. And so I had my time frame that he wanted me to up and leave. And so from that point, I knew that the date, because the the date that I asked and prayed this, it was January 24th. So I knew that I needed to be hitting the road by February 24th. Like he had gave me my answer. And so now some time go by. I don't say nothing to the lady Nicole about the whole arrangement that she offered me, right? Because I'm really like skeptical, because again, I didn't really know her for real. And I'm like, okay, Lord, the fact that she's even willing to offer me to move into a house that she rented and to renew the lease for me, that's crazy. But who knows? This could be part of this could be part of your provision or whatever. So some days go by. So my son's birthday comes around. Now, other times when God had just provided through people, like supernaturally. So one day, when I was staying with this particular family member, I was bringing, I was pretty much bringing the food in, right? So I was always trying to cook or whatever like that. It was like, a decent amount of us, 5 of us there. So I was always trying to make sure that, I was at least bringing in food and cooking, right? And so this one particular day, ain't neither one of us had no money to get no food. And I ain't know how we was finna eat, or what we was finna eat rather, right? To be able to feed everybody. So I had went out. And I pretty much, I didn't worry about it. Like, I wasn't in that mindset of worrying, right? And so, I pretty much woke up. I thank God for the day. I thank God for providing what he did. And I just was like, Lord, you know what I'm saying? Like, I pretty much am dependent and leaning on you to provide, Father God. You know what I'm saying? We need to eat, and I know that you're going to make a way. So, I had just talked to a particular cousin who had posted a certain thing, and I reached out to her. I don't know if it was her reaching out to me or me reaching out to her, but nonetheless, I ended up encouraging her in her moment at that particular time. And I pretty much shared with her how I was homeless, and I've been homeless since October. Now, mind you, it's January. So she like, what? And she like, Tia, I would have never, known that. Like, just looking at your Facebook post, like, you ain't said nothing, you still smiling, you this, you that. And so, like, I kind of, like, got emotional and just started, like, pretty much telling her how great God was and how God had shown me all these things thus far. And, he's planning to relocate me. And I was pretty much telling her not to tell nobody, because I didn't know for sure where, but I was just pretty much letting her know, just giving her, like, a little short testimony or whatever. And so she was just pretty much like, man, like, you inspire me, and like you was just so strong, and woo woo woo. So this was days ago, okay? So this particular day when I woke up, and like I said, I ain't know how we was finna get no food that day when I was at this particular family member house. But I woke up and I was like, hey, like that scripture say, don't worry about tomorrow, for it worries about itself. Like, what you waking up worrying and stressing for? You don't think God gonna provide your need? Because that he's gonna do. He'll provide anything and everything. But the needs, that's one thing you ain't got to worry about. Now, we may want things out of selfishness, or, you know what I'm saying, we may want things that may not serve us no good or no great purpose. But God gonna make sure for, like, needing any needs. Oh, no, baby. You ain't gonna have to want for that, period. So, anyways, so I ended up waking up, like I said, had this positive mindset. So I went out and did an Instacart order, right? And so when I went out and did this particular order, I ended up going to drop off the delivery. And when I went to drop off the delivery, I kid y'all not, as soon as I got out the car, it was like the money. As soon as I got out the car, I pulled into like the little it was like a apartment building, but they had like a little cul-de-sac type of little situation in front of the apartment building. So I pull up, I get out, and it's windy outside, mind you, because it's January, wintertime. I see some green blowing in the wind, and it was money. Man, I I stepped on that money so fast, and it was a $20 bill. I said, Lord. So I instantly started laughing. I was just like, Lord, thank you so much. Because, like, the fact that I pull up, mind you, it was people, like, walking around when it was people walking out of the building when I pulled up to deliver this order. And that 20 was just sitting there waiting for me. Like, literally. So I pick it up, and it was, like, kind of folded, too. Which kind of gave it weight to not blow away so easily. But, man, I picked that $20 up, and I was like, Lord, you are so good. You are so good. And so I ended up going to the store to go pretty much buy some food. And so when I made it to the store, like, it be the simplest things, y'all, but you just got to know and see God in the detail, okay? So I went to the store to get something to make a chili or something like that. And so I realized that everything that I needed was on sale. Like, literally everything was on sale, right? So, I'm talking about down from the meat to the beans, everything. Like, everything was on sale. So I ended up, what I thought I was going to go to the store to spend, I didn't nowhere near spend that. Because everything that I needed was on sale. Like I said, God be in the smallest details. Like, the smallest details. So I ended up getting back to the house, and I started cooking. And so as I'm cooking, right, or as I'm prepping the vegetables and stuff to cook, I was listening to YouTube. I was listening to a YouTube video. And so the video was named, it's pretty much a relocation video. God told me to move to somewhere or something like that. And so I'm listening to the video, and the video was like an hour long, but as I'm listening to the video, you know what I'm saying, the girl was pretty much telling her testimony about how she always wanted to move to California. And she was just saying, like, how that was always a dream of hers since she was a kid, and God started downloading to her that he wanted her to relocate, and blase, blase. And then so when it was time for her to move, because God kept sending her different confirmations, however that was, and she stated that when it was time for her to actually move, she went to go get like a U-Haul or whatever the case may be. And when she went to go get the U-Haul, she was trying to get like the U-Haul where you could like attach your car to it, because she was trying to roll her car attached to the U-Haul all the way to California from where she was coming from. And so, again, this is around the time I'm still doubting. Like, Lord, well, not really doubting. Well, somewhat, I was still doubting, but I was just like, I was tugging. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was toiling. And I was just like, Lord, like, I just need to know for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do this in my own, like, you know, my own strength. I want to know for sure that this is you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be you, because this ain't never been a desire of mine or whatever. And so I was just like pretty much leaning and depending on God to, like, you know, show and confirm. And so I was watching this YouTube video, and as I'm watching the YouTube video, the lady was talking about how she went to go get the U-Haul, and when she got to the U-Haul place, they ended up renting her U-Haul out to somebody else. So she got there, she had a certain time schedule, and when she got there, the U-Haul was gone. And so she stated that, you know, instead of her kind of like flipping out or whatever the case may be and snapping off on them, she was just kind of calm about it. And she was just like, you know, how could y'all rent out my truck and I had the truck scheduled? Like, this is my moving day. Like, I need that truck. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so they pretty much was like, you know, ain't no more trucks coming until, you know, coming back until after the weekend and blase blase. And she was just like, I reserved this truck and I put a payment down and everything. And they was just like, we so sorry. We could try to see. They were saying that it was another truck coming back later on that day, but it would have been like probably like 5 hours from the time that she came to pick up. And she was trying to hit the road because she has things to do when she got to that particular state or whatever. And so she pretty much was calm about it, and she went back to the crib and just waited. And so they ended up calling her back. And so out of the inconvenience, they pretty much was just like, man, I ain't never seen this much traffic in my life. I'm sitting up here trying to do the video with so much people in and out of this parking lot. It's crazy. It's really irritating me, but y'all just bear with me. So, so she ended up, pretty much going back to the crib or whatever, and she was like, it's nothing I could do about it. So she went back and she pretty much was just like telling God, like, she was a little irritated, but whatever. So she went back to the crib, and then they ended up calling her and told her to come back up there, that it was a U-Haul there. So when she got there, instead of her paying what she was supposed to pay, she ended up pretty much getting a U-Haul for free, and they gave her the hitch, the whatever was supposed to be attaching her car. They gave her, it was like a little flatbed type of little situation, so they gave her that for free too. So she pretty much got the whole U-Haul situation free because of the inconvenience on their part. And it was just pretty much like, you know what, ma'am, we've never seen no one interact the way that you do under, a stressful situation. Like, you really could have snapped and blah 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 blah. And he was like, but you kept calm and woo woo woo. And so she was just like, well, to God be the glory, because God provided. So then boom, as I'm listening to her video, because around this particular time, I'm knowing I'm relocating, but I'm like, okay, Lord, if I'm relocating, like, at least tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my storage stuff. So as I'm listening to the video, I'm like, okay, Lord, well, maybe this your sign to tell me that, you're going to provide for me pretty much hauling my stuff to wherever you're trying to take me or whatever. But I'm steady listening to the video, and I'm going on and on and on. And so as I'm listening, she just blurts out and says, so she's sharing the testimony about how God provided for the U-Haul and other things that he did, because her U-Haul was supposed to be thousands of dollars, mind you. So as she pretty much talking about that little situation, she just came out and was like, had I looked at my current situation for what it was, I would have still been in Chicago. Y'all, when she said that, I literally broke down crying in the kitchen. Now, we 40 minutes into the video. She didn't say nothing about where she was from or none of that. She was from Chicago, Illinois, and she relocated from Chicago to California. And she literally said, had I looked at my situation for what it was and the money that she did not have, she would have still been in Chicago. I literally broke down and started crying. And I just was like, Lord, like, that's it. That's all. I don't need no more. Like, how much more clearer can this get? Like, God was constantly, mind you, I hadn't even ever watched this girl YouTube before. Like, she just popped up on my For You page. And it was just like perfect timing. So, on that same day, now mind you, I had just prayed or whatever. And, well, I was praying every day, but I pretty much was thanking God for providing, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I ain't had no food, we ain't really had no food, and I ain't had no money, and the person I was staying with ain't had no money at that time. So, I went to go do the Instacart. The Instacart really wasn't much, but then I found that $20. I was able to combine what I had, went to the store. Everything was literally everything from the ground turkey to the beans. Everything was on sale to where I ain't paid too much of nothing. And I was just like, dang, Lord, like you be in the details. And so, what else happened? Then, boom, that same day. So, mind y'all, I told y'all I had my cousin. I had talked to my cousin a few days prior. I was encouraging her, and I pretty much opened up to her and told her everything that I had going on. I ain't gonna say that I was going through, because I'm not going through anything. Like, this is all out of obedience, y'all. So don't get it twisted. Right? And so when I pretty much shared with her everything that I was doing, you know what I'm saying, as far as my faith walk or whatever, I end up getting, now mind you, I'm thanking God, I'm super humble, thanking God, like, just thank you, Lord, like, I'm not finna worry about nothing. I out the blue get a call from her mom. And I'm like, I pick up the phone like, hey, what's going on? Ooh. And she was just like, what's your Zelle? And I'm like, huh? And she was like, I don't want to know, no, I ain't asking no questions. I just want to know what your Zelle is. And so I was like, you don't have to do that. She was like, no, I'm going to do it. What's your Zelle? And I told her it's my phone number. So boom, she sent me, I can't remember if it was $200 or $250, but I know it wasn't no less than $200. And so at that particular time, it was a need that I had, and that was right on time, y'all. When I tell y'all, right on time. Then another person had reached out and gave me $100, like within the same day. So like all this money just started coming out of all angles, all directions, out of nowhere. I ain't asked nobody for nothing. Ain't nobody knew what I was going through or nothing. Like literally the money just was coming out of nowhere. And so, mind you, my baby birthday was on the 25th. So I didn't have no money to do nothing for my baby. But then when these people had just like, out the blue sold into me and gave me this money, I was able to make plans for my baby. So I ended up going onto the Getaway website, and I ended up finding a room on his birthday for like cheap. It was on sale, and I had a coupon too. So I ended up booking a room to go to the Getaway. And then now mind y'all, his teacher put him out to school on winter break. She ended up reaching out to me like, if you want to bring him to school on his birthday, that's fine. Now mind you, he don't even go to the school no more, but again, she owned the school. She like, he could come and celebrate his birthday, you know what I'm saying? So I drop him off early in the morning like a regular school day, and she let him stay for the whole day. I go to pick him up. Mind you, I'm thinking to myself like, okay, we got enough for the room because I paid for the Getaway cabin already, but I was trying to piece together enough money to get like a cake and like get him like a little cake and like marshmallows and stuff like that. And so, but I'm like, you know what, I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna work with what I got, and I'm gonna let it be what it is. And so boom, I go to pick him up from school. And so the director, she like, oh, he had a good time, da 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 da. And then she was like, I'm gonna give you something. She gives me $100 gift card, y'all, just out of nowhere. And she said, I know that you said that you were taking him somewhere for his birthday. Maybe you could just use this for gas or da da da. And I just gave her a hug, and I was like, you know what? I just want to thank you so much. You have been such a blessing to me during this whole process. Even just my son being in your school for 2.5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when I started going through, pretty much losing everything, before I lost everything, like the earlier part of the year in 2023, mind y'all, like I stated before, I was paying pretty much $340 a month for my baby to go to the school because it was a private Montessori school. She literally started waiving the pay in January of 2023, so I hadn't paid tuition all that year pretty much. And so yeah, she just was like constantly giving and looking out for me or whatever. So anyways, I ended up taking them to the cabin. We had the little what do you call it? We did the campfire or whatever with the marshmallows and stuff like that. And so after that, we drove back to my family member's house. It was January 26th. And so I'm knowing that, I'm going to have to leave like in less than a month. So I'm just mentally preparing myself, right? And so God just started downloading a lot of different things to me around this time, because now I'm back trying to read again. I'm writing, you know what I'm saying? And so God is just downloading different things to me every day, different Bible verses, different stories, and I'm just like, applying it how I see fit or whatever. And so some other things transpired, but I can't share that right now because that's at a later date. But fast forward, So we getting close to the time for me to pretty much leave. And so I was constantly toying with if he wanted me to. I was constantly toiling with if he wanted me to like get rid of my storage or not, because I'm thinking, I'm supposed to, sell all my stuff or give it away or whatever the case may be. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, so what do you want me to do with this stuff? Am I giving it away? Am I just keeping it or what? And so during this whole time when like my storage and stuff like that was due to be paid, he was making a way, like through my father, or sometimes I would ask my sister or whoever to help me pretty much pay on the storage so they don't want to go up for lien or whatever. Because like I said, I ain't had no money coming in at that time. So and so let's fast forward, because all the stuff that happened in between this January 26th up until February, like I said, that's at a later date. But so God confirmed in other ways that he wanted me to be in Georgia. But again, I can't really share that right now. But that date was very significant. Very significant. And so so the week before I hit the road, so I want to say Thursday. It was on a Thursday. I was like, okay, Lord, well, I know I'm finna hit the road. Okay, oh no, let me back up. Okay, because I'm missing some stuff. All right, so boom, I told the lady Nicole that I was gonna call her back on her offer for me to move into the house that she was renting. So after my baby birthday, I reached out to her again, which was towards like the end of January, beginning of February, and it was just put on my heart to call her because I came across another video on YouTube. And in the video, the girl who was it was a prophet. She was pretty much talking on the video, and she was talking about her birthday. And so her birthday was literally the same day as the lady Nicole that I know. And as she's talking in the video, she was like, yeah, my birthday is on blah blah blah. And she was like, thank you, Nicole. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I went on the lady Nicole Facebook, and that's when I realized that her birthday was the same day as the lady video that was put in my path. And so it was some other like little confirmations up in there, but it was put on my heart to reach out to her again. So I did. And so I was like, hey, is the offer still on the table for me to move into the house? And she was like, girl, you ain't say nothing else, so I figured you didn't want to do it or whatever. I said, well, it's not that I didn't want to do it. I told you that I had to pray about it or whatever. I didn't just want to jump on it because the opportunity was there. And she was like, well, they pretty much asked me did I want to renew the lease, and I told them already that I'm moving. So now they know I'm moving, so they knowing that I'm not going to be staying in the house if I renew the lease. They're going to put two and two together. And so I was like, but I told you I was going to get back to you. I didn't say no. I just said I needed to pray about it. And she was like, well, I mean, I could still, run it by them and say that I want to keep the place, but I'm just letting you know that they know that I'm moving. They know that I signed another lease because that landlord of the house of where she was moving to in her hometown had already contacted her previous landlord. So I was just like, well, if the offer is still able to be given, then yes, I want to take you up on it or whatever. And so she was like, okay. So then boom, we was kind of talking on the phone for a minute, and she was telling me about how fast the process went when she was planning on moving to the crib. And so crazy enough, initially she was saying that she was trying to move by February 15th. And so I know what date God told me, but I'm like, Lord, well, I need to like try to make it happen and get down there when she leave or whatever. And so, but I just didn't feel the need. Like that scripture say, don't be anxious for nothing. Like, what I'm saying? Don't be anxious for anything. And so I was just like, okay, Lord, I'm going to just let you lead. And so it went from her saying that she was going, so initially she was saying like she was going to move in March 15th, but then the date changed to February 15th. And I'm like, well, I thought you said she was moving in March. She was like, well, now I'm moving sooner because I got a house sooner than I thought. I found a house down there sooner than I thought. So I was just like, okay, well, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could switch it to February then. And so we talked on the phone for a little minute or whatever, and then I pretty much told her, I said, I just want this to be clear. Me coming down there and moving in this house, I need you to know that I'm still moving down there on faith. So just like I was in that hotel living on faith for God to provide, I'm coming down there the same way. I'm not coming down there with no job. So you're going to have to be in this faith thing with me and just believe that I'm going to pay your mortgage. I mean, not your mortgage, but I'm going to pay the rent. And you ain't going to have to worry about no eviction and none being on your record, because I know that God is going to work the situation out if this is his will. And she was like, okay, or whatever. She was like, well, you know what I'm saying, if you telling me you gonna pay it, I'm gonna just have to trust your word. She was like, but I ain't pay February's rent, so you gonna have to pay February and March, and it's gonna be pretty much like you paying a security deposit, like if you was moving to a new place. So because I ended up using the money to move it to my new place. I put all that money down on my new place or whatever, and to move with. She was like, so you just gonna have to be looking forward to pay 2 months at least when you're moving in there. And like I said, you could just be like, you paying a security deposit in the first month rent. So I was like, yeah, I could try to hustle up on what I can. I apply for my taxes, so you know, prayerfully my taxes to be here by then. But of course it wasn't. My taxes was pending forever, y'all. My taxes ain't hit until I was well in Georgia already. I was in Georgia for over a month, almost a month before my taxes hit. So me thinking like, I thought I was gonna have all this money set aside before I moved here. Like I just knew like all my ducks was gonna be in a row before I hit the road, bro. No, that ain't how God operates. Not all the time. That's not faith. You know what I'm saying? That's not me leaning on God to provide. That's me leaning on myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm steady waiting on to get like a release date for my taxes. Ain't nothing moving. I'm talking about all type of roadblocks and monkey wrenches being thrown into plans. I was just like, you know what, Lord, I'ma just, you know, believe that, you know, whatever your will is, it's gonna be done. I'm not gonna worry about it. So So I ended up after I got off the phone with her, she pretty much was telling me that I could move into the house or whatever. She was just going, you know, reach out to them to see if she could, you know, renew the lease still. Although she had already told them that she was moving, or that they was aware that she was moving, because her new property manager reached out from the state that she was moving to. And so I took it to God. Like anything that I prayed for on this journey, I said, Lord, if this is not for you, if this is not what you want for me, and if this is not your will, close the door. I said, if you do not want me to move into this lady's house that she is renting, and you want to do it your way, close the door. If you use her to place me where you wanted me to be, make it clear and close the door. Y'all, it wasn't even 24 hours. She called me and she said, yeah, so the property manager that I was renting the house from, he put the house on the market for sale. And I'm like, so I really, to this day, I think she made that up. But nonetheless, I prayed for God to close the door, and the door was closed. However that was, it was closed. And so she pretty much called me and told me that the house, they said they was renting the house, but more of the story, she was saying that she was not able to re-rent it. She was not able to renew the lease anymore. And so I was just like, okay. And I said, well, can you give me the information to who you rented from, so maybe I can see if they got, other houses or whatever. And so she gave me the guy's information. I reached out, never received a response. So I don't know if that was even him for real, or if she just gave me a number. I don't know. Don't care. It doesn't matter. But I reached out to this realtor, or this landlord, and he never reached back. Text him, left a whole paragraph professionally, never received a response. And I was just like, well, Lord, I'm going to just take this as confirmation that you don't want me to go that route. You know what I'm saying? You used her to place me where you needed to be, but you just didn't want to use her to get me through that place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to, you just needed her to plant the seed. That's all. That's all. And so once I received and accepted that, it was what it was. So from that moment on, I started looking for apartments in Georgia. So I just started reaching out to all these different places. I started reaching out. Sorry, y'all. I started reaching out to all these different places. I'm talking about, I'm steady asking God, like, Lord, what area do you want me to move to in Georgia, though? He steady saying Atlanta, clear as day. Atlanta. I'm like, nah. Got to be hearing that wrong. But you got to be in Atlanta or in Georgia to understand that Atlanta ain't as big as people think. It's the places around Atlanta that make it up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, like, no, it wasn't what I thought. So, so I'm just all over the place. I'm looking up best school areas and all this stuff, and I'm just looking, and these people was responding back to me like nothing. I'm like, dang, I ain't never seen no apartments respond back this quick. Like, not even in Chicago or Illinois, period. Like, they was responding back. I'm talking about people was calling me from their personal numbers. I'm like, dang, they must really need tenants in Georgia. But that was just God's way of showing me, like, you on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up meeting this man in Norcross, Georgia. It was a place in Norcross, Georgia. So I'm like, okay, Lord. The guy ended up reaching out to me or whatever. Pretty much, I told him flat out, I'm coming down there on the faith move. I do Uber here full time. When I come down there, I'm pretty much transfer my Uber. I don't have no job. When I come down there, I don't have a job. I'm pretty much am going to be doing, independent contractor working. And so he was down with it. He was cool with it. And so at this particular time, I was not doing any Uber or nothing, because again, God had me at this place to rest. So I hadn't done Uber since like November. And so dude had pretty much called me on FaceTime. We had exchanged personal information outside of Zillow or whatever. I think it was Hot Pads or something like that. And so I ended up having a FaceTime video with him to see the place. And then after I seen the place, he pretty much was like, okay, well, I'll get back to you or whatever, and you just let me know, because I told him I was still in Chicago. So I was like, I can't really see it in person right now, but I'll be down there soon. And he was just like, because around this time, I want to say we was in February by this time. And so I was like, I'll be down there in like 2 weeks or whatever. And he was like, okay, well, I'll be back in contact with you or whatever. So then the weekend came, and he ended up messaging me back on the website and was just like, can you send me your most recent bank statements or something like that. And so at that point, I was just like, well, Lord, I guess he got me because I ain't got nothing to show him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had no money flowing in. So at that point, I got discouraged. And I was just like, Lord, like, do you want me to just send him what I have, knowing that I have nothing to show for it, and just pray that your, favor reigns? Or what do you want? What do you want me to do? And so, again, I'm just trying to have all my ducks in a row. And I hear God say clear as day, like, just go. And I'm like, just go, just go with nothing. Like, I don't know. And so, like, I literally heard him like, why is you trying to get everything in order? Just go. And I'm like, okay, so just go down there, no apartment, no nothing, huh? Just, what we doing, Lord? We're going to stay in another hotel? You know what I'm saying? So now at this point, I'm like, okay, Lord. So I started looking for extended stays, And I'm, again, trying to find places to have set in place before I go. And so everywhere I'm looking, terrible reviews. Everybody talking about this roaches here, and they be smoking in the rooms. And I said, Lord, nah. And so again, I'm looking all over the place. I'm still looking all over the place. All over Georgia. But Atlanta. And so, literally, the night before I hit the road, right? Let me back up. So, boom. It's getting close to me about to leave. I still don't know where I'm going. I just know I'm going to Georgia. Okay? And I'm looking, at this point, I'm looking for all type of extended stays all around the area. Trying to price check and things like that, right? So, I had no money. But I had a cousin that I could depend on. And I was just like, I called this particular cousin. I'm like, can you at least put like a week up for me? And then when I get there, I could figure out the rest. And so she was, I got to see what credit card I could put it on, because I'm not trying to go over my credit card limits and but I could see what I could do. I could help you out. She was like, just let me know where or woo. I said, okay, cool. I'll let you know. So, now, a few days before I hit the road, so like this is, I want to say, February 22nd, right? I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to need some toiletries for the road. You know what I'm saying? I done ran out of body spray. All my perfume was in storage, buried somewhere. I didn't even know where I put it, because when I put my stuff in storage, the intent was not for it to be in there over a month. I thought that I was going to have that storage for 2 months tops, and then I was going to give me a place in Illinois, in the burbs, where I was already at, and I was not expecting my stuff to be in storage a year later, because it's been a whole year. Okay? But yeah, I pretty much I was like, okay, Lord, I need some toiletries. So then he had pretty much put on my heart to go, like, looking for body spray. So I went to Victoria's Secret. And so as I'm looking on Victoria's Secret, a particular body spray that normally be like $28, it was on sale for like $12. So I was like, bet. So I ended up getting 3 of them actually. Ended up getting 3 of them. And so I ended up sending it to be picked up at a mall in my area or whatever. It's a little outdoor mall, kind of like Oak Brook Mall. If you're from Chicago, you know. That ain't Chicago, that's the suburbs, but you know. So I ended up getting it sent to a mall in a suburb. It was called the Permanente Mall. So I ended up getting it sent to the Permanente Mall in the southwest suburbs. And so I was going to go pick it up the same day, but God placed it on my heart to go pick it up the next day. And so I went the next day in the morning time when they opened, and I went to go pick up my order. And as I was leaving, I had a Macy's gift card that I had got for Christmas. I had for 2 years, and I had never spent it. And so I hear God say clear as day, go to Macy's. And I'm like, Lord, now you know doggone well I'm not finna get nothing out of Macy's for $25. Not no perfume. You know what I'm saying? Probably like a little traveling SASS little situation, but I'm not finna spend my $25 gift card on that. And so I hear God say clear as day again, just go to Macy's. So I go into Macy's. I said, okay, Lord. So I get into Macy's, and when I get into Macy's, this was around the time when AT&T was stripping it and people's phones was like cut off in the middle of the night or whatever. This was, like I said, in February. So, and social media had got shut down. There was like some crap going on with the phones and the networks. So I ended up going into the Macy's, and I had walked past the Clinique department, and the lady, this older white lady, had spoke to me or whatever, and I was like, hey, how you doing? Good morning, woo woo. And so as I'm over at the perfume section talking to the lady that was serving me, we just got on a whole nother subject, and we was talking for like a good 40 minutes. And so I was trying on different perfumes or whatever, and I was telling her what I had to work with. And she was like, oh, let me let you smell what I wore on my wedding day. Like, oh my God, girl, it smells so good. I get so many compliments on the woo woo. She's like, but we don't have any traveling sizes. You normally would have to order it online because it's so popular. And so she let me smell it, and I was like, oh, they do smell good. And she's like, well, the one that I wore on my wedding, we don't have like a sample bottle or whatever for it. And so we just sitting there talking. I was like, wow, like I really like the one that you have on display. And I was like, I really wish that I could use that one or whatever. I mean, I use that one, but I really wish that I could smell that one, the one that you talking about. And so she just was like, let me check something. So you know how at Macy's they got all them drawers and stuff in the perfume aisle, or just in general. She just started pulling out like different drawers and stuff like that. And so when she pulled out the drawer, she realized that it was a whole drawer full of the perfume that she was trying to recommend, but she was about to pretty much show me how to order it online because she didn't think they had none in the store. And girl, it was a whole gift set with 3 different smells from the same perfume brand. And I just was like, look at God. It was like a Christmas gift set that she didn't even know they was down there. It was like over probably 20 of them in the drawer. And I was just like, look at God. I said, he gave me exactly what I wanted. And I was like, well, that works out. And so I had to end up adding like, I think $12 to the $25 gift card to get it, because it was like 30 something for the little gift set. It was like little bitty traveling spray bottles. And so as me and her was talking or whatever, before it even got to that point, the same white older lady that spoke to me when I walked in the Clinique department, she came over to the perfume department pretty much asking her phone. She was talking about her phone and how her phone was having issues and all that. And I was like, who you have? She was like, AT&T. I said, oh yeah, AT&T service went down in the middle of the night. She was like, really? I didn't know anything about that. I said, yeah, a lot of people on social media was complaining about it, and blase blase. And so she was just like, wow, I did not know that. And so I told her, like, just power your phone on and off and see what happens. It should work after that. And she was like, okay, thank you so much for the advice. So then she went back to her department, and so boom, I ended up checking out or whatever. And as I was leaving and I was passing by her again, she was like, excuse me, what is your name? I said, Tiara. She said, I just want to thank you so much. I did what you said, and now my phone is working. I said, oh. I said, well, I'm glad I could help. And she was just like, I really appreciate it, and da da da. And so boom. As she said, after that, she was just like, out of nowhere, she just started talking about God, and she was just like, God will provide all your needs. And I was just like, you know what? I said, you're absolutely right. And she was just like, she pretty much was saying, like, just trust God, like, he'll take care of you. And so she just kept like talking about God, like just randomly saying these, little phrases. And I was just like, that's crazy that you say that, because I'm actually about to make a faith move in 2 days. And she was like, really? She was like, what type of faith move? And I was like, I'm about to move to a whole nother state with nothing. And she was like, really? She was like, do you have a job waiting for you down there? I said, no. She said, an apartment? I said, no. She said, so you're just going down there? I said, yeah. I'm going on a faith move. I said, I'm literally going down there with nothing. I don't have an apartment. I don't have a job. I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just going because I know God told me to go. And she was like, oh my God, God bless your heart. Can I pray for you? And So she grabbed my hands and she just started praying for me, and then I started crying or whatever, and I was just like, just wiping my tears or whatever, but I was just like, like I trust God, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that this is what God wants me to do. And so after she prayed for me, she went and she grabbed her purse, y'all. This lady is at whole work. She grabbed her purse out of whatever the little section she had her purse sitting in behind her station, and she started digging in her purse, and she said, I should be giving this money to my grandkids, but I just, and I said, no, I said, don't do that. So I'm like super loud, like, no, like, because we in the middle of the Macy's. I said, please don't do that. She said, no, I want to do this. She said, let me do that. She said, I just want to give you some money. She was like, it's not much, but it's gas. It'll get you there. And she gave me $40, $40 or $50 in cash. And she said, this is at least gas. And I just started crying again. I said, oh my God. I said, God is so intentional. And so I get to telling her the story, like how I ordered the doggone store pickup for Victoria's Secret in the mall, and how I just was coming to pick that up. God told me to come the next morning, which then that lady probably wouldn't have been working the shift that had I went to pick it up late at night when I ordered it initially. Because initially I would have picked it up right before the mall closed. And so I was just like, God is so intentional. He told me to come to Macy's. And I did not want to come because I really ain't had the money to spend beyond the gift card to get no perfume. And I was like, and then he ended up putting you on my path, and you were able to be a blessing to me. Now, mind you, I'm constantly asking God to send confirmations if he want me to move for sure, or if he wants me to move by this date, and then boom, he puts you on my path to further confirm it and provide it through you. Not just physically money, but even a word. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, I want to thank you for being obedient and for, just speaking to me and, crossing paths for me, because God literally used you to further confirm what he already told me to do. And so she gave me another hug, and she was like, oh my goodness, she was like, you're just such a beautiful young lady. She was like, do you mind if I put your name in my sister's group, my sisters in Christ? We're going to pray for you. And she was like, can I get your number? So we exchanged a number. She telling me her name. She's like, please keep in contact with me and let me know how you're doing when you get there, okay? Let me know when you make it. Don't forget to tell me. And she was just like, and just make sure that you're praying all the way, and God is he's gonna provide for you. If you know that this is what God is telling you to do, don't worry, just be obedient. I was like, for sure. So, I gave her one more hug, and then I left. And so I get in the car and I just started crying some more, because I was just like, God, this is so simple, but it's so big. Like, what I'm saying? I was just like, Lord, like you are so good. So boom, I go back to my family member's house. And so I got to tell y'all, I was still toiling. Y'all, listen. People, we are something else, but God is so patient with us. Thank God for his patience, right? Because I was still toiling. Even after all these million confirmations God has sent to me. I just was scared. For real. This was very out of the ordinary for me. I was about to do something drastic that nobody I know has ever done. You know what I'm saying? So I went back to this family member house, and so I'm like, okay, Lord, so I know for sure that you want me to leave. I got 2 days, but where am I going? So boom, I'm up in the middle of the night, and then God tells me to start searching for places again. I just start searching for extended stays again. So as I'm looking, y'all, this place pops up, and it said, I'm not going to say the name in this video. I will release it in the next video, but it said blank, blank, blank of Atlanta. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the place. I said, oh, this is nice. Look like an apartment or whatever, right? So I'm looking through it and looking through the pictures. I'm talking about energy, front loader, washer and dryers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nice kitchen. Like, the place was nice. It was really, really, really nice, okay? So I'm like, okay, Lord, what is this? So I clear as day, and I'm gonna try to find the screenshots and upload it in my 5th video. But it literally said on booking.com, this place is rarely available, and that it was a rare find or something like that. Something. It was some. I gotta find it, but it pretty much was like, this place is never available. You know what I'm saying? And then even with it being on there, it was only like 1 or 2 rooms available. They had studios, 1 bedrooms, and 2 bedrooms. And so the studios was running for, it was a special going on at that time, and the studios was running for a little over 100. So I was like, dang. So I did the math. I put like a week in there, and so it came out to like almost $800, $800 with taxes. And so I'm like, dang. So I know I'm gonna have to at least put it out a few days if I want to, like, like try to at least try to keep it or something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to book one night. I was trying to like at least do like a week. And so I'm like, but Lord, how am I gonna pay for it? Because I don't got no money. So that cousin I was telling y'all about earlier, I ended up reaching out to her, told her the situation. Mind you, this is the day before. So the day before I hit the road. So I tell her the situation, and I said, no, this was 2 days before I hit the road. So I tell her like, no, yeah, this was the day before I hit the road. So I tell her like, look, when I get, cause she do my taxes. I'm like, when I get my taxes, you could just get the money from there. But like, I need to have somewhere for me and my baby to stay when I get down there, and I'll just figure out the rest. And she was just like, okay, well, let me see what I could do. So long story short, she wasn't able to pay for the road for me, and I just was like, well, I'm still going. That's what I told God. I said, I'm still going. And so I thank my cousin for, trying to help. And I was just like, it is what it is. God don't want nobody to get the glory for this but him. So I'm still sitting there like, okay, Lord. Well, I wasn't able to book the room ahead of time. Then it ended up showing up. It ended up coming up that the room was sold out. So I was like, okay, Lord, well, now what? Because, so when I prayed to God before I hit the road, I was just like, Lord, provide a way for make sure that I at least got a roof over my head, Father God. Make a way for me to have a washer and dryer some type of way, because I'm used to having a washer and dryer for the last 4 years. So like, at least let me get that luxury, because I do not like to have no dirty piled up clothes. So if I could just have a washer and dryer, Lord, or a dishwasher, like, just allow me to just be comfortable, Lord. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's what it was. And so, okay, boom, next day comes. And now it's down to the nitty gritty. I'm finna hit the road. Okay, so this the night before, and so I could not sleep, and so I'm up all night. I'm praying, I'm crying, and I'm just like, Lord, I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna just go. But where am I going? And I just kept hearing God say to go to that hotel in Atlanta that was sold out, that I tried to have my cousin book for me. The place that he put in my path, literally at the last minute. Like, I have been looking for extended stays in hotels for weeks, okay? After the situation with the girl Nicole, after that door closed. And I was looking for hotels and apartments. And so that place was not coming up none while I was looking. And so right at that in that day before, that place, the place that God sent me to popped up the night before I hit the road. And it was not showing up beforehand. Okay? And so so I was going to sleep. I was up and I was praying. I said, Lord, Like, how you want me to do? How you expect me to do this? Like, I literally had under $200 in my account. No, I'm lying. I had like $225 in my account, and I had that money in cash that lady gave, that stranger gave me at Macy's. Okay, and so I was like, okay, Lord, I know I'm at least gonna have to fill up 1.5 times, because my gas tank can get me 9 hours away, however many miles that is. But I done drove 9 hours straight from Chicago all the way to New York, because I went to Niagara Falls, New York. And then when I got in a certain part of New York, I had to fill up, and then I had like an hour and a half, 2 more hours until I got to Niagara Falls, New York. But like, I know at least my car can give me 8.5 hours to 9 hours straight on the full tank. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, I know I'm at least gonna have to fill up when I leave here, and then when I'm pretty much almost there. And so that's exactly what happened. And so and I want to worry about gas when I got here. Like, I just need to get here. And so I knew that I was going to have under $200, including restaurant food on the way. I was going to have under $200 to get a room for at least the night. Because you got to remember, you got to pay a security deposit, or not security deposit. You got to pay you got to pay a deposit on the room. You know what I'm saying? So, incidental fee. You got to pay an incidental fee on the room. So, the night before I hit the road, I'm crying. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to just go. I'm going to go to this place. So, I put this place in my GPS, this hotel, and I seen how long it was going to take. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to just go there. I know this is where you're telling me to go. I'm going to go. And so, I woke up early in the morning, the day I hit the road, February 24th. I woke up at like maybe 5 in the morning. I got up and I kind of started mentally preparing myself. I started packing and all of that stuff. Then I started looking for oil change places, because I need an oil change like real bad. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, now I got $225. I'm going to have to get an oil change. My oil change is going to be my AirPod there, y'all. Sorry. I know that my oil change was going to at least be $109, because that's how much my oil changes is for my truck. And so my daddy was going to help me pay for the oil change. And so he didn't have the full amount, but he was going to help me pay on it. And so I'm calling around the day before. And so the day that I hit the road, God just put on my heart, like, look again. So I started looking again, like, oh, in this particular area, this in my family member's neighborhood, they was in the suburbs too. He told me to look again. So I just so happened to call this shop. It was it Midas? I want to say it was Midas. I think it was Midas. It was like a smaller location. But when I used to work for FedEx years ago, I used to deliver to this particular company, this exact business, because my route was in this area years ago. This family member lived in the area that my route was in for years when I used to work for FedEx. So I called the shop. And I say, how much is your oil changes? So he give me different prices. So I give him my VIN number, and he tells me what my oil change is, what my oil change will be. And so I said, just be honest with me. I know I know my car take Dexo because I got a V6 engine, but can I like play with the oil? Like, can I play with the oil change and get like the cheap one? And so he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can actually get the conventional or the it was the conventional, and I forgot what the other one was, but it was the 2 lowest oil changes that you can get. But it wasn't a Dexo, or Dexo, whatever it's called. And so I said, so you telling me I could use it and it ain't going to mess my car up? He said, I mean, it ain't going to be high premium oil, but, it'll get the job done. And so I asked him, well, how much is that? And he told me it's $39.99. I say, bet. Can I come now? He said, yeah, we're actually like empty right now. And I said, well, here I come. And mind you, it's a Saturday. Normally, oil changes places be booming on Saturdays. Man, I got in. I was able to pull up. No appointment or nothing. They got me in. Did my oil change. And it ended up being cheaper than I thought. When I left, he ended up shortening me my change. And when I realized it, I called. He said, you know what? You're right. I did. I forgot to give you an extra 10. It'll be here waiting for you. I am so sorry for the inconvenience. Just come on back and get it. And when I got there, he ended up giving me more money back because of the inconvenience. And so, I thanked them or whatever, and was just like, it's cool. I appreciate you being honest and, remembering that you did short me or whatever. And so, because, most people would be like, I gave you your exact change and da-da-da-da-da-da. So, I'm just glad that he was, a man of integrity. You know what I'm saying? So then I left. After I got the oil change, I turned on the Instacart app, and I ended up getting the order for literally a little more than what I paid for my oil change. So I literally got my money right back for my oil change. So like I literally heard God like, turn on Instacart, do a little order or whatever. Turned on Instacart, I ended up getting my money right back that I paid on my oil change. So boom, did that order real quick. After I finished that order, I hear God like, okay, it's time. So boom, I go back to the family member house. I pack my stuff up. I get the load of my car up. And let me tell y'all how the devil works, right? So I'm an overthinker by nature, okay? And I have an ex that I've been knowing since I was in 7th grade. I cut this particular ex off in 2021, and he's been stalking me ever since. He's always stalked me all my life since I've known him. But I have not seen him. I have not entertained him in no type of way since 2021 because I was dealing with a guy from 2021 up until literally Thanksgiving of 2023. Okay, last year. So I started my faith walk. I lost everything October 2023. Called myself cutting this particular guy off, the one that I was dealing with from 2021 to 2023. Called myself cutting him off the beginning of November, but I ended up seeing him around Thanksgiving, and I slipped up. I asked God for forgiveness a million times because I definitely was convicted, but I was still weak in my flesh for this guy. Like I love him. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And so, but I cut him off again, and in that way, and then I just act like it never happened, asked for forgiveness, and I left it there. And so, as I'm loading up my car to hit the road, like I'm literally loading my car up to go to my storage to then put what I didn't need in my storage, and then I was going to hit the road. My car was literally filled from the front to the back. So my baby was in the front seat. I still had stuff in the passenger seat, and then my stuff was literally, my truck was loaded from the front to the back, like literally. And so as I'm loading up the truck, I get a text message from this particular ex that I cut off in 2021 that I've been knowing since 7th grade, and he said, can I take you out to dinner today? And I'm like, no. I texted myself, no, I'm moving out of Chicago. I'm leaving Illinois. Stop contacting me. I'm finna block you again, because this particular person will constantly make numbers. I don't know how he steady getting these iPhone numbers. Just steady blue text messages. Like, bro, what, you going to your phone service and telling them to change your number every time? Like, what's going on? Because every time he would text me, I would block him. Because I wasn't trying to entertain him. I was done with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done with you, bro. And so that was one dart from the devil. And so, mind you, I hadn't heard from this dude. He hadn't tried to contact me in months. But the moment I was finna hit the road and leave Egypt, because that's exactly what Illinois was for me. Egypt. Okay? Then I'm loading up the car, and I get a phone call from another dude that I used to talk to. Now, this particular guy I met in 2021, around the time that I was dealing with the guy that I cut off in 2023. Okay, the guy that I was dealing with recently, I met this particular man in the grocery store. A whole nother person. And we didn't go far. Like, we talked for like a week, and I cut him off because I seen the red flags immediately. And once I see red flags in the door, baby, you ain't getting far. Now, if you finesse me, that's different. But if I see red flags in the door, you ain't getting far. I'm cutting you clean off. Because I got a lot of pet peeves that I don't be willing to settle for. And so, now, boom, this first ex texts me that I've been knowing since 7th grade. Boom, can I take you out to dinner? Shoot him down. Boom, I'm leaving. Boom, I don't even live here no more. Bye. Then, within the same hour, this guy that I met in 2021, don't even know him for real. I only talked to him for like a week, if that. He calls me. Now, I still had his number saved because I totally forgot about the dude. Really, I never deleted it. I just stopped talking to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I get a phone call and I look and I'm like, who is this? But I'm seeing the name, but I'm trying to register who is it. So then a little light bulb pop off in my head. So hello? Hey, how you doing? I was like, who is this? So I'm trying to act like I didn't know who he was. And he was like, this such and such. And I was like, who? He was like, you met me at the Jewel in Romeoville. I said, what up? What you calling me for? And he like, oh wow. And so he's like, I just wanted you to know that I apologize for pretty much not being consistent or, rubbing you the wrong way, but I haven't been able to get you off I haven't been able to get you off my mind ever since. And I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, you further prove my point as to why I didn't want to deal with you, because you calling me 2 years later. I have not talked to you since 2021, and here you come calling me 2 years later. It's 2023. You further prove my point that you're not someone that I want to talk to. It took you 2 years to realize that? You're not consistent, and I don't like that. And he was just like, oh, well, you know what? I respect that. He was like, but like, can I get another chance? I said, no, I don't even know you. And I don't want to get to know you. Because again, you done already proved to me that you're not consistent, you're not reliable, and I shouldn't have to tell you to stay consistent or to be interested. You saying how you couldn't get me off your man, but yet you calling me 2 years later. I only seen you one time, and that was in the grocery store. I have not seen you beyond that point. And I was just like, so yeah. No. And so, like, we stayed on the phone for a little minute, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was trying to, like, drag the conversation on. And so he was just like, what are you doing? It sounds like you're moving. Are you moving or something? Like, what is all that noise? And so, mind you, it's snow outside. It's ice and everything outside. So you hearing all the shh. And so, I was like, yeah, actually I am. I'm gonna have to call you. I can't, I'm busy right now. My hands are full. And he was like, well, are you gonna call me back? And I was like, probably not. And then he just was like, oh, and I hung up. And so that was that. Well, bro, when I tell you, I get to having all these little random thoughts in my head, like, dang, like, why they just randomly contacting me out of nowhere? Boy, when I tell you that was nothing but the devil. That was nothing but the devil trying to send distractions, baby. He sent 2 different men from my past to try to sow discord or just try to distract me and, like, you know what I'm saying, get my man out of focus of what God was doing in that moment. Like, I thought that was so crazy. Like, dang, like the devil, baby, he be quick on his feet. Quick. But you gonna have to be quicker than that. You gonna have to be quicker than that, little pigeon-toed, sloop-footed devil. Cause you ain't finna stop me from making this move. I'm out of here. So I ended up finished loading up my car. Said goodbye to my family member, hugged them, kissed them, all that, whatever. And then I headed to the storage, and from the storage, put my stuff in there, called my child's father, let him know I was hitting the road, and I was gone. I hit the road at about 6 p.m., made it to Georgia right before 8 a.m., and I did it straight. I didn't take, and then that's just me in general. Like, I'm a road warrior, baby. One thing I'm going to do is take a road trip. But I took the trip all the way straight through. And on the way, it's in the middle of the night at this point. It's dark. And on the way, I'm just praying and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, like, I'm still like toilet. Even though I'm hitting the road, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you. I'm like, can you please, like, just continuously download to me and you know, speak to me and let me know that I'm not making a mistake, because, Lord, I'm going here with nowhere to go. Like, I don't even know where I'm going to lay my head at, but I'm trusting you. And so as I'm on the road, now I'm in a whole nother state at this point. And as I'm praying, I look up and I'm like, Lord, just please let me know if, you know, this is, you know, if I'm on the right path. And so I think I was in Ohio, I want to say. Wherever I was at, it's pitch black at this point. It's wee hours. And I ended up looking up and the exit said Martin Luther King Way. And the exit number was, I want to say 7. And so I just started looking up like what that number means in the Strongs. And then I started looking up way. And like I just started putting everything together, because God worked like that. Like, He'd have you dissecting and breaking things down, speaking to you. And so, of course, where Martin Luther King from? His hometown is Atlanta, Georgia. His hometown is Atlanta, Georgia. That's where he's born at. Martin Luther King Way. What is a way? A direction to go, right? And so I'm looking up the direction of way, and it's like, okay, Lord, say less. Like, I literally was praying and speaking to Him, and boom, I look up, because you know how like it'd be pitch black on the back roads most times, and they be having like little street lights here and there on the highway, but like, I literally was coming up on the exit, and my car lights was illuminating it, and it said Martin Luther King Way, and it was exit 11, and 11 meant, I forgot what it meant, divine guidance or something like that, something to the extent, but this ain't no angel numbers, bro. So before y'all look, you got to know how God operates before you come on here talking. But it ain't no angel numbers. But I'm gonna break that down a little bit more in the next video, because I'm like an hour and 20 minutes in at this point. But God literally gave me supernatural rest and strength, because I literally did not get sleepy until I got in Georgia. So the whole way, I'm up all night listening to gospel music. I'm singing to the top of my lungs, crying and everything. Just me and God. I was talking to God the whole way, the whole 12 hours to Georgia. And I promise y'all, I didn't get sleepy until I got to Georgia. It was pretty much an hour away from the hotel that He sent me to. So I'm gonna wrap this video up, y'all. I'm gonna come on here with part 5. It was a very busy night tonight. This particular place that I'm staying at, I ain't never seen so many people moving around in my life. It's steady people walking past. Y'all probably heard me earlier, because this person was standing right on the side of my car, just sitting there. Like, get in your car and pull off. Like, what are you doing? Like, people just be. Then I got this light shining. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to have light in the dark to record. And, you know, people just so nosy. They just be so nosy. But the devil was sending distractions. Then I ended up hearing something loud just hit my car. I don't know what that was, child. But it didn't stop me from telling my story. I was about to get out for a second and look. But devil, you're going to have to try a little harder. So that is all, y'all. This is part 4 of the video. I will be back with part 5. I pray that you guys enjoyed it, and I pray that it blessed you. Just telling my story, you know what I'm saying? Hoping and praying that it would encourage somebody to do the same as I did. You know, trust God with your whole heart, with all your heart and your whole heart, and just believe and understand that He gonna guide you through it. And whatever He send you to, He gonna see you through it. But obedience is key. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Alright. So, alright, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Get back into my baby. Go ahead and lay down. And I will see you guys in part 5. Y'all have a blessed night.